If managing your Airbnb feels like a full-time job, then you're doing it wrong. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how I automate my Airbnb business. From pricing, cleanings, to messaging, accounting, marketing, and everything in between. We'll start with the core tools that I use daily, some more advanced ones, and I'll even give you some free options at the end of the episode. Without further ado, let's get into it. Running short-term rentals is constant work. Guest in, guest out, and you're still expected to be your own bookkeeper? I had multiple listings going and no real way to manage the money that was coming in. Between flipping beds and trying to match receipts from a payment a month ago, I couldn't even know if I was making real money. That's when I found Baselane. It's the official banking platform of Biggerpockets, and it handles all of the tracking and reporting I used to do manually. Now I can see real-time financial reports for each listing and know if there's a problem that's arising. For example, last month I had a 300% spike in my electric at one of my properties, and I realized that I needed to do something. I quickly set up a smart thermostat inside of it, and my electricity bill was cut almost in half. Thanks to things like Baselane, I avoided losing my profits and actually getting them back in my pocket. Start protecting your profits today by signing up at baselane.com/BP, and you'll get your $100 bonus right when you sign up. So let's actually jump into what other ways we can automate our short-term rental business. And I'll give you all the steps I have done. In case you've never been on this channel before, my name is Garrett Brown. I'm the BiggerPockets short-term rental expert and a short-term rental investor from Texas. I have over 10 different properties now in 3 different cities. And last year we had a gross revenue of about $1 million across all of them. Now, that is gross revenue. There's a lot of expenses that can go into these type of operations, but the better I've gotten with my software systems and operations, the cheaper things have become, and I'm starting to gain my time back finally. So we'll start with my core tech stack that I think is pretty essential for anybody that has one property or more, but you can get away with some of these things if you're just starting to grow. So this is just what I personally use. The brains of the operation is Hospitable. This is my property management software. It pretty much controls everything. It's one unified guest inbox. It helps me sync up my calendars from between Airbnb, Vrbo, my direct booking website. It has a ton of AI tools within it for messaging for guests where it can answer questions almost automatically for you sometimes if you're feeding it the right information and save you a ton of time. And so many things that I could make a whole video, and I have on the channel, about the really cool things that Hospitable has for you. Now, they also have their own dynamic pricing baked into their cost for their software. It's a new tool they just put out. I personally use a company called Price Labs, though, for my dynamic pricing. It's something I've used for over 3 years now, and it helps manage all of my properties. This dynamic pricing basically is similar to hotel software, where they balance the supply and demand in the area. They look at events that may be coming in, and it uses an algorithm to automatically move your pricing to adjust to make sure you're getting the maximum revenue out there. This thing literally makes me money while I sleep, how it's adjusting rates, and it pays for itself every single month. The next extremely essential one for me is Turno. This is a cleaning app that links right into something like Hospitable. You get a booking in Hospitable. It triggers a notification within Turno, which will go directly to one of your cleaners or your main cleaner. They can accept the job. They can go in and put pictures in, all types of really cool things. And you have a cleaning calendar that you can review and make sure your cleaners are staying on top of the, things coming in. If you have a backup cleaner, your main cleaner can't make it, they can reject the job and it will go to your backup cleaner. Turno is definitely a time saver and something I couldn't honestly function without. And the last one is something like AirDNA. This is for market research. They have their own pricing tools inside of it. There's a lot of really cool things AirDNA can do. Even if you've already bought a property in the market, you can compare listings to see how your listing stacks up to others. Does this listing make $20K more than you because it has a hot tub? You can really dive into those type of things with AirDNA. Now, as we keep rattling along though, there are a few advanced automations that I use almost daily that you may not be at that second ready to have, but the sooner the better with a lot of these things. We already mentioned Baselane. Baselane is amazing. It's what I use for my banking, bookkeeping, and accounting within my short-term rental software. It's built for real estate investors, so it can automatically tag transactions. I know which property is spending more, which property is, profiting more, and able to really look into the numbers. And then I'm able to to give my CPA a tax package that is perfectly set up for real estate investors and has it very easy for her to look through and comb through the numbers, and she loves it. So Baselane, I highly recommend for your banking, bookkeeping, and accounting situation. Now, the more direct bookings you start to do, I use a thing called Open Phone for my business line. This is amazing. My team can share it. I have multiple phone numbers within here for different reasons. I kept getting personal calls all night, and I get spam calls all day. And I was tired of looking at my phone, wondering is it an Airbnb guest? I have this business line now that only the Airbnb guest or direct booking guest can get. And the more direct bookings you have, you're going to start getting way more phone calls in. A lot of Airbnb guests stay within the messaging of the app. They do call as well too, but the more direct bookings you start to get, this business line is going to save your peace of mind, and it's relatively cheap for the whole year. I think I spent $100 for the whole year, and they have an AI answering service on there. It's very cool stuff. So check out Open Phone. With Open Phone, I have 2 full-time virtual assistants that work under my company now. AI from Hospitable takes over some of the other times, but when my VAs are on, they use Open Phone. They handle tons of tasks for me, guest issues, cleaners, setting up, handyman, sending them out, a myriad of things that I could make a whole nother video on them, what they do for me as well. If you want to know what company I use to find some of these virtual assistants, let me know in the comments or reach out to me, and I can connect you with the company that I use to find highly qualified virtual assistants. After that, I'm just starting to rattle some of these off because some of these depends on how big your operation is. Something like Asana. I use Asana, but some people use Monday.com. This is task management, project management. We use, like if something's broken, we put it in Asana to know that, this property needs this fixed, supply issues, other things like that. I'm kind of growing out my Asana operations now, so I'll report back with more as I go, but it's a really cool tool for now. We also use Discord. A lot of people use Slack. I like Discord for a few different reasons. It's also free, so that's great. I'll throw that in the free section as well too. But this is how I communicate with my virtual assistants all in one area, so we can see common things like this guest needs this. Did you take care of it? And things like that. So very cool feature. And as I've been expanding, I'm always looking for deals. So how I'm finding deals now is going on to biggerpockets.com and using Bigger Deals. That's the new deal finder they have actually on there. You can look at the long-term metrics specifically on there. I'm working with getting more short-term rental data on there. So, bear with me in the Bigger Pockets community. I am advocating for it right now on my end. A lot of technical things that go into it, but for now they show a ton of long-term data. I always recommend balancing the long-term data with the short-term rentals as well to make sure that it could profit as a long-term rental if you need to go that route or the management is just too much for you. So I'm an advocate for that as well. Tons of deals on Bigger Deals. I'll leave a link in the description for it to go check it out. You'll be able to find quite a few things in a lot of areas you're probably looking in. After that, we have places like Fiverr and Upwork. If you need small things like social media edited, you need some post, a logo, graphics. These are great, freelance sites. There's a website called Buffer that I schedule all my social media posts on. I use MailChimp for my email marketing. There's plenty of other options out there as well. And I use something like Hike SEO or SE Ranking to make sure my organic SEO on my direct booking website is fully functional and we're showing up as high in Google as possible. But now I promise you some free tools to help mitigate some of these other things and how to, just kind of get your feet wet if you have one property or you're just kind of testing some things. So a manual property management software. There's really not one that's free out there. We do have a Hospitable code that you can get 25% off for the first 3 months. You can do some different free trials and see what you like about different places. But if you only have one property and you're just on Airbnb and Vrbo, you can link those properties' calendars through iCal within each of those systems, and you can go in within each one and go to Vrbo and Airbnb and make sure you have notifications coming in and just operate out of there for now. I recommend getting a property management software. So much easier to set up when you're just starting than it is when you have quite a few properties. But if you have one property, I can understand why you necessarily don't have one. So once you get to 2 properties, I couldn't even know how you could function without a good property management software. It pays for itself. After that, you can use something like CapCut for social media editing. If you don't, want to pay someone to do the editing for you and you have a little bit of social media savviness, hopefully in you. CapCut's very easy though, and will help you edit some really cool videos and let you know what's trending out there. Use ChatGPT for your listing descriptions. Ask them for, content that might go viral. Anything that you can think of, it's probably going to be able to at least give you some clarity on the answer. Don't be afraid to step a little bit into the AI revolution, but hospitality always has a human-centered touch to it. Buffer, the social media platform I mentioned I used to post earlier, has a paid version, but they also have a free version. So if you wanted to make a few posts and CapCut from some videos you took, put them into Buffer and schedule them to post to Instagram and TikTok on, like a Sunday, you schedule them for the week. It's a great way to save some of your time and really maximize everything you're doing with social media. Baselane is free to sign up for. It is free to make an account for. So if you're looking into banking, bookkeeping, and accounting options, you can go through baselane.com/BP, get your $100 bonus for signing up, and it's free. If you're trying to do email marketing, MailChimp, to my knowledge, doesn't have a free account, but something like Brevo does have a free account where you can send up to 300 emails to kind of get that process going. So I'd look into that. And then the last two is organic social media and content creators coming just for a stay where you don't pay them and you just pay the cleaning fee for them coming. Those are two almost free ways to really get your marketing revved up and start to build your business. If you have one property and you're not looking to build a short-term rental business, you don't have to go all in on these things. The more unique property you have, the better it's going to do on social media though. So there's not a one-size-fit-all Airbnb automation, short-term rental automation setup. There's a ton of different softwares out there. There's a lot of really cool ones, but start small, build your system early on, and upgrade as you grow. But there's one thing that I've learned, and that automating your business is how you're going to scale faster and save your peace of mind, money, and more time down the line. So why wouldn't you want to? Again, check out baselane.com/BP to get that $100 bonus that we talked about. You can sign up for free now and really start to jumpstart in your short-term rental career. If you want more content like this or how to maybe go into one particular topic, let me know in the comments below. I appreciate you watching all the way through as always. And I think YouTube wants you to watch one of these videos right here. See you on the next one.